Hey everybody, welcome to a very special Facebook Live on location at the production office of Baroness Von Sketch Show. I'm here with Meredith, Aurora, Carolyn, and Jennifer, and this is their second time on Facebook Live with us, so welcome back, ladies.
Thank you very much.
So last time I saw you guys, it was October, and it was pissing rain, and I think you had just wrapped your first season.
Oh no, we were still filming.
Were you still filming?
Yeah, I think we had like 2 or 3 days left because we did our last chunk in the CBC building. Because I can guarantee, because I flew out the next, I know we were still filming.
Okay, we're still, but we're almost done.
Almost done. And also we had booze last time. So.
We did
That's why it's a bit of a
We've just discovered frosés. So
I made frosé last week, and it took 4 hours, but it was worth it.
What's in your frosé?
In my frosé?
Yeah.
A lot of rosé, and then for ice.
Okay. Ours had vodka too.
Yeah.
Rosé, vodka, strawberries, frozen strawberries, and like a sprig of mint on top.
You had strawberries in
Oh
yours?
wow.
Yeah.
Did you do the Bon Appetit recipe?
We did make them. We did make them. Someone made them
.com.
for us and brought them to us.
Yeah,
That's
in
pretty
bowls.
sweet.
But in
It's
bowls,
really
in floating bowls. Anyway, I don't know.
pretty much.
Showed up without frosé this time.
You're
sounds
obnoxious. Could we sound any more obnoxious? People actually, someone made it for us and brought it to us.
We've got 20 minutes to sell.
Yeah, that's right. So
That's a bar.
Well, I was
That's,
gonna
everybody
say,
has, you know,
okay.
it's a bar.
Since I saw you guys last, so much has changed, right?
Yes.
You competed at the Canadian Screen Awards.
Yes.
You're now working, just about to start production on your third season.
We're in production now.
And you guys were in Vogue this week.
I know! I walked around all day going, Vogue. Yes, because how can you not?
Do you walk
Like,
down
I mean,
the
like, it's like wildest
Do you walk
dreams.
down the
Like,
street to work doing that?
a little bit.
Great.
I sometimes sashay.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta practice your catwalk on the way to work. I mean,
Yeah.
you know.
We should specify that it was like the online. We didn't get like, you know,
Yeah,
Anna
we're not
Wintour
doing
didn't
the
like
layout.
tell us we looked fabulous in our gowns or anything, but it was still Vogue, so it was amazing.
I mean, nonetheless, it's a pretty big deal. How are you guys internalizing all of that?
Honestly, we don't have much time to think about it because we are in pre-production and like it's like so busy. It's actually kind of fortunate. So it's sort of almost like looking at the sun. Like you can kind of go get a glance and then go, okay, now I gotta go back to
I feel like that's the most Canadian answer.
I think that's why we started off the interview talking like obnoxious about our frosés, because I think it was the first time in almost 4 years that the four of us were able to, I mean, and what a great position to be in, but we found ourselves, we had to do some press, and then we all found ourselves, the interviews had ended earlier than we thought, and we had a bit of time, and then we were like, hey, do you want to have a drink?
When we all have nothing to do but have a drink together.
Because we hadn't celebrated having the green light for our show the whole time, so it was like, that was one of the reasons we're obsessing about the frosé in the bowl, because it was a bit of a moment. So like, we'll have times like that where we go, hey, this is great. And then we worry about season 3 20 minutes later.
Yeah. So the writer's room is actually here somewhere, right?
Yeah.
yes,
Over there.
somewhere hidden in the building.
Yeah.
It's just
We
back
actually
there.
filmed sketches in here too.
Yeah, this is where Meredith comes like, what's her name?
Meredith.
Meredith.
5 years.
When we do stuff together, we're Marilyn, though.
Everyone just calls us Marilyn. We're like, yeah.
Carolyn and Meredith, yeah.
But Meredith did a sketch in a Psych Up Salad, the one where she's like trying to think that happened in this room.
In the
right
right
here, and she's split across the table. Right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then all of the office, Reggie Watts was in the building.
Yeah.
So you're basically on set then.
We're on set.
Kind of,
Yes.
So if we were to go and take these cameras into your writer's room, which we won't do,
Right.
what would we find?
A lot of paper, a lot of binders. The writing portion has already finished, so you wouldn't find like a whole bunch of writers, you know, toiling
God, I know, I do
away.
have a lot of rewrites.
We
this
do
and
have
that, but yes.
rewrites. So it's like laptops, different versions of different scenes.
You'd find a vitamin C container on the
Yeah.
thing. You'd also find a box of super tampons, just open, ready for anybody. It's
Yeah.
like, oh,
There's actually one tampon on the magnetic board.
That's true.
There's like, it's like we have our schedule of what we need to do, and then one super tampon plus that's like, it's just,
there it is.
Like a top.
Snacks.
Various snacks. There's often like various coffee cups. People have their different levels of hydration, so they'll have like a coffee, a juice, a water. I feel very comfortable if I've got 3 or more beverages in front of me.
My daughter was just in here saying hi at lunch,
Yeah.
and I showed her the writing room for the first time, and she just went, she's 6, and she's just like, messy. I'm into it. So, a little bit.
And also, even though it's like a hot summer's day, because of the air conditioning, there's a couple of fuzzy blankets. Usually you and I are the ones with, I have like my son's Justice League blanket, and you have like one with wolves on it? No.
Yeah, and then Carolyn's girlfriend Moynihan
I have one that was sewn for me specifically.
So we had our next one. It's like
personal blanket.
I have no blanket, but I have a sweater.
Yes.
It's like it's a very unbalanced building, so it's freezing there. But on this side of the building, it's like for viewers at home, it's a little warm in here.
Yeah, it's slightly tropical. We were just saying earlier, this kind of looks like the set of Melrose Place, actually.
It does a bit.
I'll tell you what, man, in that atrium, it's hot like Melrose.
Yeah, it is.
We all live here.
There should be a
An Airbnb up the room.
So I mentioned that last time I was here, you guys were working or were just wrapping the first season.
Yes.
And kind of initial reviews had come out saying it's a Canadian comedy Americans will never get but desperately need. And you guys actually had your American premiere last night on IFC. So clearly they did need it. What does that feel like? Because I feel like for Canadian entertainers, Breaking America is this massive sort of Everest. Now that you've sort of done it and the reviews are coming out, they're very favorable. Does that feel more meaningful somehow than success experienced here, or how is it a different beast?
I don't know if we've broken America. Do you mean broken into America?
No, it's already broken.
We did not break America. No,
We were talking about this morning, but it's if like say the show had gone nowhere here, but we had broken into the scene in America, that would be its own pleasure. But there would still be this hole of like, why not here? Because the pleasure of having our phones go off, but like having.
Is that your mom?
I'm going to disappear for 1 second.
No,
Okay,
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
No, it's a sweater. It's a sweater for Jill Kirschman, our script coordinator from season 1.
It's something extremely important.
Yeah, there we go.
They're a very big deal now.
No, it's not. It's America.
It's a gift for her best friend that she's trying to organize.
Yeah.
So.
Who worked on our show, so she's part of our success. But as I say, Carolyn, you have to move further away. We can hear you. Carolyn, we can hear you. Move away.
I'm way out. Move the other way.
Facebook Live.
I'll tell him.
This is what it's like all the time, basically.
It's like herding cats.
Yes. So you're so back to
So America.
So back to but the support and the love that we've had from the people here, like when we were on Facebook and all the comments, like, oh my god, I love this, or this is us, or whatever, like that is just it's all pearls on a string and they all feel great.
Yeah, and I think what we're talking about is like we're talking about so much of like modern life anxieties, which I think it doesn't matter where you live. I think all globally we're a little anxious at the moment. So I think that they've embraced it because it's the same thing that's kind of going on here.
We took great pride in the fact that we wanted to do a show that wasn't afraid to show any bit of Toronto. It was in a neighborhood where all of us at that time were living, so there was lots of, so when we built it, it was like, oh no, there's Canada all through this, and we weren't afraid that was in the show.
And I think there's also something to like, we're being very honest about ourselves and our lives and hopefully about like aspects of other people's lives. So when you like really put yourself out there and people like, yes, it's like when you're in a relationship and you find somebody you can finally be yourself with and they love you for being yourself, it's like, great, this is great, because like when you're doing something that like isn't quite you, it's like, oh, okay, that's good, but this is like, it feels great.
Now it's like you get to be really gross.
We need to be so gross.
Won't lie.
Yeah.
And if you create a product and work hard at it, and then someone says they like it,
Feels good. Feels good.
It feels really good.
Feels great.
Yeah, let's be deeply un-Canadian about this and say it feels fantastic.
Yeah.
We've worked really hard and we're very happy.
Yeah.
I read in Vogue that they called you the best thing to come out of Canada since Ryan Gosling, which I feel like is the most obvious thing to say. If you had to replace Ryan Gosling with anything, what would you say?
Healthcare.
I like it. We bear ourselves down.
Best thing since Tommy Douglas.
Since year-long maternity leave.
Yeah.
Anne Murray.
Anne Murray.
Medicalized.
I got way too excited.
I love Anne Murray.
Yeah.
Do you know I found a cookbook in my mom's house? It has nothing to do with the show, but it was a cookbook with all Canadian stars, and the cover was Anne Murray, like her favorite recipe.
Oh, nice.
Yes. And Elvis Stoico. Do you guys want to? Do you want?
Oh,
sure.
I was so disappointed because like a friend of mine got asked to do one of those things for like TV Guide, and they're like, okay, so it's gonna be a recipe, and then they gave him a recipe. I'm like, so I've been making Knowlton Nash's pierogies, and they're not his pierogies. Like I was so betrayed by that.
We could do a cookbook guide. Oh,
No, don't worry. I know. I was just thinking that.
Yeah.
Later.
With the best things is butter tarts.
Butter tarts,
yeah.
oh my god,
Yeah.
butter tarts.
Nanaimo bars?
Nanaimo
Nanaimo
bars.
bars, yeah.
I'm sure BC would have something to say.
Yeah.
Oh, you should try mine. I make a really good, not too sweet, because
I
I get
don't
too
like
sweet.
coconut and thing. I don't like.
I make two batches. I make one with coconut and one without.
And you don't like raisins either, do you?
Not in things.
Right.
I feel like we could like synergistically make a Chatelaine Baroness.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Cookbook.
Yeah, we've done that. I feel like we've done that with people. I mean, I should know this, but I'm not like 30.
I make really good Rice Krispie squares. They're my thing.
Do you guys have a specialty other than frozen
Pancakes.
Rice Krispie squares.
Pancakes.
Pancakes. Oh, I think so.
I
Ten
make
eggs.
a really good pie. I will make a good pie, and I will also I will walk you through making a crust. People get weirded out by crust and grits. Don't get afraid.
Don't
You
get
own
afraid.
it. It's just flour and water. You got it.
I make a good risotto.
I have a really
I
foolproof
make
way
a
of doing
good
salmon.
Like a good crab cake.
Yeah. Yeah, you do
Wow,
make a good crab
that's
cake.
very
Yeah.
impressive.
Between us, we could have a really one good dinner.
Oh yeah, we got
Yeah.
a great
Yeah.
dinner. Yeah.
Oh, so good.
Also in Vogue. I feel like I'm just reading American reviews because we're always like, love us.
No, that's been
But,
happening a lot the past few days.
Yeah. But it's just, people keep saying like Canada's having a moment, it's this aspirational liberal enclave, we're replacing Portland here apparently, which never been.
Yes, it
It's very
takes one
cool.
whole country.
do you think there's any truth to that? I mean, people have been barking about like, you know, the Justin Trudeau thing for
I
a
don't know, it's so
while.
hard because politically, in one way, compared to certain situations going on in the world, we've got a lot of stuff to be, you know, we're blessed to be born in a country like this.
Mhm.
But at the same time, I feel it's difficult because there's things that we still have to look at in this country that we need to work on. Does that make
Sure,
sense? So
sure, yeah.
I feel really hard going, Canada's having a moment when I look at the Indigenous people. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
in one way, I mean, that's
Yeah.
such a Canadian answer, but there's so many wonderful things about Canada that are happening right now. And then something inside me goes, oh, I better be careful because there's other communities that we still have to take care of.
And if I were to be America's therapist for a moment, I would say, like, I think how they're expressing that says more about them than it actually does about us. It's what they're like looking for.
Yeah.
You know.
But I do feel that, like, you know, versus 10 years ago, I feel like Canadians, it's kind of like, you know, like, we grew up, we went to high school with America, and we were always the super popular one, and we were always the nerd, and then we got a little bit older, and we went to the reunion, and like, suddenly the super popular one, not aging so great,
Yeah.
and the nerd one's like, oh, we kind of got this going on, we just
Came
quietly
into
went along, and our life is pretty good, so I think, you know, that...
Everyone you say America's gonna bring you around the back and beat you up after the reunion.
And also, I think what's
I'm not
happening in the
scared of
States, I think what's happening in the States right now makes a lot of countries look like they're having a moment.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's true.
You know what I mean? I think there's
Yeah.
a lot of countries that be like,
Yeah.
oh, I thought we were, oh, that's
Yeah.
okay.
You haven't aged well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
So if you had to create a best of primer for an American, a person who's never watched your show but now will, refer to the fact that it's
Oh, no, like a
everywhere.
best of trailer, did you say?
Just like, yeah, a super cut of your
Oh,
best
no.
sketches.
It's like a quiz question, guys. I'm gonna freak out. I'm terrible at quizzes. Best of trailer.
Like the essential Baroness
Just what are your
compendium.
favorite sketches?
What would be in
Just put it
that?
that way.
Oh, well, you gotta start with Locker Room Birthday, because that's
Yeah.
like, that was the gateway.
That was. I feel like that's the quintessential.
Yeah, we gotta have dry shampoo.
Yeah. Types of jeans.
Cottage. We're at the cottage.
Yeah, I think you have to have Mad Max.
But yeah.
Mom, say hello.
Mom, say hello,
Book
yeah.
club.
Red wine ladies.
Red
Wine
wine, oh yeah,
ladies.
red wine ladies, yeah.
Maybe you could help us. Maybe something that we could ask
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
okay.
Facebook Live audience if you had to put the best of trailer together to introduce it to anyone or another country to tell
Like,
us.
what
Yeah.
do you like?
What do you like most about
Well, actually, I'm just offhanding you the quiz question. I'm like,
No, it's
yeah.
fan engagement?
Yeah, engagement, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry for.
No, it's okay. Doing well.
Jennifer, there was an interview that I read with you with for Split Cider,
Mhm.
which is a comedy, covers comedy in the States, and you called Canadians observers of America.
Yes.
Do you think that you guys will maybe be a little bit more mindful of that audience when you're writing for next season or
Well, we're
the
just-
following seasons?
We're in a super fortunate position because we've written season 3. So,
Right.
I mean, it's amazing, all this stuff. It's very heady, but unfortunately, it's written, so we can't really, at this point, there's no changing it. So the ship is sailed. I don't think so. I don't think we'll change because really what we're talking about is just our lives, and we're still going to be living in Canada. It'll still be the day-to-day. It'll still be like going into the writer's room and finding a blanket and getting your vitamins and all your water and sitting down. So I don't really think that it will, and I think that, you know, I find that the things I've been involved in, if you chase an audience, it fails. You know, and if you just talk about what's true to you and what you find funny, then people can relate more. So I think we'll just keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah, and the things that happen interpersonally in friendships or at the office or at the cottage or whatever happen in America as well. Like if you've got a problem with a coworker here, you're gonna have a problem with a coworker in Boston or Philadelphia or wherever. So I think Jen put it well, and I just added more words onto the end of what she said.
That's okay.
More words.
More
Yeah,
words.
I'm gonna add
The
more
Carolyn
words.
Taylor story.
More words.
More words.
The Marilyn Taylor.
The Carolyn Taylor.
Do you guys have a sense of, at this point, given that you're such a well-oiled machine as a team?
God, I'm so glad you're saying that while we're in pre-production. Sometimes it's like,
Remember this moment.
Yeah.
Sarah List, who actually has written some stuff for us, she called you guys comedic Justice League. And I love that analogy, partly because, superhero movies are very de rigueur. But also, do you guys have a sense of yourself as your own part in the team? Like, which one of you is Iron Man? Which one of you is...
No, this is the other question we get asked, and I always freak out on, so I'll let them...
Okay, I'm gonna just say, I like us being the female Justice League. As a kid, I was always really hurt that there was only Wonder Woman, right? Because on my street there were a lot of girls. We try and play Justice League, and it's like Wonder Woman, and then we'd be like, well, I guess there could be like Superwoman and Spider-Woman. So like, rather than us being male superheroes, I think we should be our Justice League of ourselves and be our own.
When I was a kid, I loved villains. Like they're one of my favorite ones. So like I would go with like
don't try. You're like, I can't. All I want to do is one of our writers is one of her dear friends, May Martin, and whenever Carolyn talks about something like, I was gonna be like, dear May, Carolyn's admitted that she's a villain.
No, so like Catwoman, I was like, oh, she is cool on Batman. So
A lot of female.
I mean, I don't
villains,
really
for sure.
identify with Catwoman. Yeah, but I love cats. I have a black cat.
Catwoman always fails, Carolyn.
I also just want to point out that in the Justice League animated series, Hawkgirl was also part of the team, so it's just so sad.
Yeah. I do like a good superhero analogy.
Yeah.
I think mostly like what I'd like to do is go talk a costume, get a really good outfit, and then I might be able to.
Right.
I remember asking you what your superpower would be if you could have one, and yours was that you could gnaw through things. Which is
I said that,
So
that's what back in the UK. I was like, I could chew through things. And I remember, I was in the UK and Nick Frost asked me that too, and I was like, I could chew through things. And then everyone went after me, and they had like really good ones. But to be fair to Carolyn's point, this was like the first thing that popped in my mind. I was like, chew through things.
yeah, and my
They're like,
superpower-
they're like,
But I like-
and you're like, my teeth are very strong.
But I'm like, who's gonna be like, oh, let's call up her?
yeah.
But if you were trapped somewhere, like as a rat can, you could like chew
Right
through
now, I'm
steel
like,
and,
now I'm like a
No, they have
rat.
incredible bites. They can go through steel, like stainless steel and concrete.
Yeah.
I don't want to be rat girl.
Well,
Well,
so
I just
if
meant
you
like
don't want to
that.
be rat girl,
Yeah.
what do you think your comedic superpowers are?
Okay.
Respect it.
Crying.
And then maybe like weird crime.
Yeah.
I think trying. I feel like I have no skill set except I'm really good at going at failing, meaning, and then go, oh, that didn't work, and then trying something else again. It's like full humiliation doesn't seem to stop me or dim me. So I feel like I'll like do some big thing, whatever, fly across the cell, be like, that was not working, and then get out and then try again and get out. So I think that I have trying, resilience.
We're slightly clueless. I think I like playing those parts. People who don't quite get it, whether they're nice or mean or whatever, but they
No, you
don't
are
quite
really good at
get
that.
it. Like in book club,
And
something
also
like
we were just
that.
rehearsing something, and I didn't even know if you had a line in it, and you made a face. I was like, that, keep that.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, that's so someone that
Just-
truly doesn't.
Just kind of doesn't get it.
Yeah,
Aurora, you said crying?
Yes.
Can you?
trying.
Can you?
Can I
She
cry?
can cry right now. Sorry, not to put you on the spot.
Carolyn, see the villains? Are you really?
Oh no, I'm a contagious crier. I don't know
Oh
why.
my god, she's totally doing it.
That's her superpower. Did I just
no,
force you into
good.
that?
Oh my god!
Do it. Yeah.
That's really good. I was like, oh, I respect this.
I was like, this whole thing is naked.
My superpower is empathy.
Yeah.
Listen, evil superhero, this is what I mean.
But she was kidding.
You said in an interview you loved putting me in shitty positions. You said that.
She's so good at it.
And now Chatelaine's worried. Great job, guys.
Quality. That was
That was moving. That was moving.
That was right.
No, I really did start trying. I'm acting it.
Yeah. It's
Jen,
all good. It's
What's
all good.
yours?
Yeah.
My super period. Oh, my super period.
Super
My super period.
Super
My
period.
super
I have a
period.
super period.
I have a
That's
super
mine.
period. That's my power.
Oh, we all do now in our 40s.
Oh my
I don't know
God.
about you ladies out there, but you hit your 40s, your period becomes a whole other world of magic.
It's already
Yeah.
so bad though.
Yeah, I think.
Did you say it's not so bad?
No, it's already so bad.
You wait till you plus 40, you won't know what's going on.
Someone in there should will do that. Warn people. My superpower might be the summing up line kind of thing.
Mhm.
Might be
Oh,
my
Jen can
superpower.
like you can have like an 8-page script and be like, this is brilliant, it's really going on, and you're getting notes on it, and then she'll just look at it and then just be like, in one quick quip, sum up your whole sketch. You're like, and now it's a blackout. Thank you.
And you're good at being indignant too.
Oh, I'm good at being indignant.
Very good
Yes.
at like madness around and
Yeah.
being the one who's
Yeah.
like sees
Yeah.
each
Yeah.
Whereas I play the person who doesn't know what's going on.
I know exactly what normal is, and this is why
This
it's
is not right.
Yeah, I have to admit, like book club was really easy for me because, they were so funny in it, but it drove me crazy. Like I'm just like. I'm acting the part, but I also am in a true level, like really annoyed that we are not talking about the book. So yes, you're right. Indignity.
Yeah.
Yes. And shocked. And shocked.
Yeah.
You know, when you're shocked, it's pretty good.
What is your secret favorite thing to do in an improv scene? Like you said, my life is basically just managing the liquids my body creates. Like, do you have a deep love of gross out humor? Is there like your comedy vibe?
Yeah, Jen loves a fart joke.
I love a fart joke. I love that. Well, like what I truly love to do, and it's because these guys are so professional, it's really, really hard to do. I can make them like genuinely laugh because that is like, yes, I have won, but it's really hard to do.
Mhm.
I love having secret props that I need to like just have like a little thing going on, like the mugs of tea and what's happened, that kind of thing. You know,
Oh,
like
yeah,
just
that's
having
great.
like extra mugs that I can have, just something in the back. So I watch a lot of Pixar movies because I have a son and he's young. And I always appreciate that, like, no matter how many times you watch them, like sometimes my husband and I will even text each other, like, oh my God, did you notice that in A Bug's Life, in the background of this, there's a guy doing this? It's like, oh my God. Like, I love seeing all those little things on repeat, so I like doing those kinds of things as well, you know what I mean?
Caroline?
I know at Second City, I used to have a reputation in improv for coming up with weird names for people.
Yes, that's
Yeah, just sort of improvising strange names that go on for a while. But I don't know if I do that in this show.
No, you haven't.
Actually, that's your superpower when you're writing scripts like Dazel and Hardcrack.
Oh, yeah.
Like that.
Mine would be like
She's
Mr.
a
Van Son Gin Fondue. And it's like, what?
Why am I saying
Why am I
those
saying
words?
those words? Or, you know, they're just like, and then, but then someone like Doug Morency would go and create a great character based on this dumb name. But
Fondue.
Fondue.
I don't know.
Mr. Fondue is your
Yeah.
word.
I don't know what I do. I know sometimes what happens, which the director doesn't seem to mind so far, is I'll be in a scene, it'll be like definitely some improv's happening, and then there'll be something in front of me like a glass of water or a fork, and then that will turn into something. There was I think it was in the show. There was a sketch that was in the show, it was in the first season. Remember dip and slap and dip and slap? Like,
Oh, yeah,
sometimes I'll take just one simple prop and then it kind of turns into this weird, and like Carolyn, afterwards, it's not like I'm ashamed, but I'm kind of like,
What
did I do? Like,
Yeah.
I think that's called flow. Have you seen that TED Talk where, like, what's his name? The doctor.
Maybe
Talks
I
about that you get
should.
into the zone and then you just go.
I just thought it was dissociative, you know, like you do it and you're like, did I really do
No, I
that?
think you're right, that must be what it is. It's
Actually,
about
guys,
flow.
Beyonce does that because
What,
she
flow?
has her, like when she's on stage, Sasha Fierce takes over.
I'm like Beyonce.
Yeah, she's like Beyonce, so there you go.
No big deal. No big deal.
Yeah.
With an eye to sort of future seasons, do you have a dream guest star?
Idris
Secretly?
Elba.
Jill
Yes.
Soloway.
Several.
Jill Soloway is mine. I've been asking.
We've been talking about Meryl Streep for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Catherine Keener.
Catherine
Marie Bamford.
Frances McDormand.
You know, after the thing came out with, you know, best thing out of Canada since Ryan Gosling, I was like, oh, you know, we should ask Ryan Gosling to be a guest. So Ryan Gosling, come to our show.
Will Arnett.
I just wrote a scene for us. It's called Makeout Pile. I have gotten a marital free pass for the scene, and it's really good to be good for
Yeah.
you.
Sub question: who's in your marital free file?
Not like
You tried it out.
Yeah. It changes. I like to renegotiate it as, you know, but it's a two-way street. Like, I'm like, you know,
Yeah. Stephen Colbert's kind of always in the mix, but it changes week to week. Yeah, depending on who's really good that week.
Stuart Colbert, is that like a,
Yeah.
is
He's
that
always
been a
there.
conundrum?
I don't think I've ever, whenever we've played Marry, Shag, Kill, I don't think I've ever killed him. It's
No.
always one of the two. Anyway, if he's listening, whatever. Yeah.
This is just putting it out there
Yeah.
into the universe right
To the
now.
universe, yeah.
I don't, what's
You don't have an
What's
accessory.
your free pass? What's your
Free pass? I have time of competition.
No, just because you went down that road,
Yeah.
and you wanted to go down that road, I mean, you go down that road. I'm not going down that road.
I'm just saying, the road is there, the road is
Okay, very quiet with that.
Yeah.
Guess who our free pile is, what is it called?
free pass.
Free pass.
Free pass is
Free pile,
like
I call
fudgicles and ice cream sandwiches.
Yeah.
That can be too. That can be too. Yeah.
No, I like it with some thought.
Okay.
Okay. Good. We'll come back to
We'll come back. to
Yes,
this.
we'll come back to that.
Yeah.
Do you want to take a question?
Sure.
Yeah, let's take a question from the internet.
How much do you improvise in scenes and how much is written?
Depends.
Depends on the
Oh, I
scene.
get that a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
some scenes are like,
sorry. A lot of times, so improv is definitely a layer of our show, and some scenes get a ton, and some.
are like they're written a certain way in order to get the joke. You really have to land them like that. Other ones we stick to the script, and then at the end we kind of improvise and add it on, and that often adds a fun layer to it. Like for example, God, it happens all the time. Like in all sorts of scenes, but one example of sticking to the script and then adding a little might be a sketch that Jen wrote. Bike blackout. That one.
yes.
I think Alex Tyndall and I are sending the little boy off on his bicycle, and then we did that thing where like, okay, great, he's gone, run. And then Alex improvised, the thing we started running away. Oh, he's on a bike, he can catch us. And so all of that was improvised and tacked on.
Yeah.
In a book club.
I would say like Red Wine Ladies is more improvised. Like there's a
Meredith
script
is
with that.
all
I'm all improv on that.
Yeah.
But something like Book Club's a great example because like Book Club we didn't have a lot of time to film, so we had 15 minutes to get the whole scene. So the scene is pretty tight. Within the body of the scene, the only real improv thing was the which it was just sort of like letting, how fun is that to let that go. And then at the very end, there's a bit of improv with the vestibule.
What is
Or
it?
the the
toe,
stitchel,
yeah.
the place to leave your coats in your hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
impressive
portmanteau.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever find you had to kind of rein in your improv sensibilities now that you're doing a TV show?
Oh my gosh! You should. Every year on set, I've been told I've had Meredith taken aside, be like, if we could just. You're like, yes, sorry. So, but saying this, the channel is amazing because sometimes it's so, you're having such a good time, you feel another character really well, then you get to a group and you can go, oh my god, you're
Or
in.
we get a
To be
plane,
on
like
set.
there are a lot of F-bombs creeping in. Could you guys, I tend to get to be a bit of a potty mouth when I'm.
You can be a potty mouth.
Yeah, that's true, actually, you like
I'm
that.
never going so bad.
Yeah.
Is there a blooper reel somewhere?
Yes, there is.
Yes. Yeah,
We
there
have
was
more.
a very
Available to the
short.
public?
No, it wasn't.
No, we did release one, didn't we?
Yeah, but there should be one. We should do one for season 2. There was actually this thing. It didn't make the sketch, but that I almost lost my poo in the Joe Kittinger sketch where Carolyn doesn't want to jump out. So I'm the kind of publicist, and Meredith is in drag. And during one scene, she just turned and she planted. You planted like honestly the strongest kiss I've ever had on me, and it was so funny.
I don't remember. I was in the flow. Did I make out with you?
Yes, you fully made out with me. I mean, oh wow, it meant nothing to you.
It meant everything to me. I'm covering.
Anyway, yeah,
I remember I could see you on your boob. I remember like reaching.
Oh, I
out.
don't remember that. So
I
that's,
remember like going around in that.
Yeah.
You didn't know you were doing the scene, and I'm like trying to creep and feel your boob.
Yeah, so that footage exists somewhere. But the funny thing was when you did it, I literally saw the crew just drop to the ground, and they're pretty good. They don't. It's hard to make them laugh. So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, that I'd like to see.
And we have some sketches that didn't make. There's extra sketches lying around
Yeah.
as well.
Work emails we wrote, like we had because we just locked in, and sometimes like, when you're locked in with the person, I don't know if that's the same as flow, but
I
it's
think it is.
a thing, and it's just like, we're gonna walk the line and we're gonna get as close to that line as we can without breaking, but sometimes you just tip over and
It's too much, but
It's
that is
not
for me.
cool.
That's the fun. Is if you lock in with someone else and you're taking the scene down the road, and everyone's just it's like you're here, but the scene's right in the middle, and you're just like, well, let's just see.
Yeah,
this
where
thing
it goes.
goes.
Yeah.
Where it falls
And
apart.
because our days are so tight, you don't have the luxury, like you can't just break down laughing. I mean, sometimes we do, we break down laughing, but it's like holding on. It's that, by your little.
The only time I thought I'm going to waste people's time, I couldn't get it together, was season 1. It was a scene with Aurora Nicole. My name is effing Nicole.
Yeah.
And we were really super tight that day. remember the drive that thought it was a spaceship. There was all that trying to get to set.
Yeah.
There was on Aurora, and Aurora really has to freak out hard in that scene, so I went to give her the space, but she did it so well, and I lost it.
I remember that
take.
take.
The sketch, and it's the take they use in the Nicole sketch, and I'm acting, and I knew. I was like, it's gonna happen, and there's nothing I can do about it. I was like, I'm gonna act shame, and I just went. Like I literally put my head out of the camera.
I remember that take too because they weren't using that because it was the performance. I was like, "Are you kidding me? You don't remember my name?" I had gone really quiet because I was trying something different because of the camera was on you that time, and I was like, "Oh my God, she's breaking!"
I broke.
It was-
But I obviously.
yeah.
Because
we
so
just
if you
spent,
see my
like-
head tilt down, that's not because I'm acting well, that's because I'm
And she made it through me like yelling in her face from this far away, kind of thing. She like held fast for that, but it was like, really? Can I forget it? Like that kind of thing. Yeah.
Is there a person in the foursome that makes you laugh when you're on screen with them more easily than someone else?
For me, it's all of them.
Oh, no, it's all. It's like it's different. Like it's.
Like, who is most likely to break you?
I think I laugh in response to Carolyn laughing because in my memory, Carolyn breaks more than anybody else, and then I start laughing.
Right.
But that's also probably not even true. Like I think there's laughing that happens.
To me, it's on the day. It
depends on the day.
It
Yeah.
depends on the sketch that you're in.
Yeah, and sometimes it's just like, I was laughing, we weren't even on camera, we did this sketch where it didn't make the show, but Aurora and I were playing cops, and we're walking away, and then I could see that we just both felt like, I just feel like we should be holding hands right now.
Yeah.
And we were holding hands, and there was something about that that just really made me laugh. Now our backs to the camera, you can't see it, but it was just that like found moment of like, yes.
I remember a moment with Jen, and she made me really laugh, even though I was doing the insane stuff. There's a sketch called Bag Hate, where I don't have enough bags, and I know I had tampons in my hood and fruit. Like, I know I'm like milk and do my pants and think we're off. And it was just the way Jen took it on as really normal. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I corpse them.
She said.
Do you have another question?
Is the internet saying?
We have a question about the long weekend and how Canada suddenly gets a free Monday.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about that? Is
Like this coming.
Well, how do you feel about?
feel very good about it.
Are you on Carolyn?
Super positive to the cottage.
Yeah, do you have cottage plans? What are you
Yeah.
doing this weekend?
I think
It's supposed to be rainy, but so probably like some reading, maybe a crossword, maybe a swim in the rainy lake, maybe like maybe a fire inside, maybe like a nice homemade risotto, maybe like a bottle of wine.
Okay, so what time should I get there?
Yeah,
I'll reply.
reply.
I'm going to visit my parents, but there's a beach near them, so that's good. Yeah.
I'm going to Vermont.
Oh yeah.
That'd be nice.
What are you doing?
Just hanging out with my daughter Hazel, who you guys met. You all met?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You good?
There's a
Did you not meet her?
I didn't.
yeah.
Oh, maybe I think you were late.
Oh.
Oh.
No, I don't know what time you guys weren't in here. She was here. I asked her if she wants to come do the Facebook Live, and she was like, no.
Oh, she's missing out.
Yeah.
We have a couple other good ones.
Okay.
How long does it take you to film a scene, and will you release the outtakes? We did sort of talk a little about that.
They exist.
Yeah, the outtakes. There is like
Go on our
it almost felt like a trailer for the outtakes. There's like a short version of the outtakes, but there are full outtakes like with the long version of every take.
Oh, like in
somewhere.
Carpoolers, where
Like in
we-
Carpoolers, like she keeps like.
I broke down laughing each time, and I had this bottle of water that I was supposed to spill on Aurora, but I just kept spilling more and more. So
And
she was
higher
sitting in like a puddle of
Yeah.
water, and
Isn't it really hot, or you're wearing
It was
vinyl
no, it was
or
getting
something?
onto the microphone, so we were like in danger of filling the microphone. But like it was like full like like when I watch outtakes from a show, I love to just like show me everyone.
When was that released? If they're looking on our
It was
Facebook
last
page.
year, I think.
I don't think that full sequence of
No, the full
breaking is
sequence
on.
didn't,
So
but
it's
the
sort of-
like the trailer for them.
Well, a request heard, and we will see what we can do about
Yeah,
that.
maybe even on YouTube, that could be good.
Yeah.
We're making things happen.
And someone else wants to know, Daniela wants to know if you feel like stars yet, after like Vogue and the New York Times.
No.
Like,
Yeah.
Not at all. Like,
we were like literally
yesterday.
checking to see if we had kale in our teeth before the
Yeah.
we were all like, do I?
No. I don't have air conditioning. Like, no, I don't feel.
I feel like a star when I pay for groceries. That's when
Yes.
I feel like, and here's my debit card.
Yeah,
Bring your bikes
Yeah.
to work.
Yeah, I feel good like when the bills get paid.
Yeah.
And I can do that. That feels like a star moment.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's what stars mean. No.
I don't know.
What do you think your star moment would be though? Like, would it be an Emmy or Gemini? It's not a Gemini anymore.
CSA.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
I feel like my star moment would be like being able to afford a house in Toronto, if I could put down cash and go boom, there, I would be like, yes,
I've made it.
I've made it.
Yeah.
So, never gonna have a star moment.
No, yeah.
Too real.
Sorry, goodbye.
So season 3, it's written,
Yes.
about to be
Filmed.
filmed.
Yeah.
Are there any sort of nuggets that you can reveal, or what to expect when we're
Expecting?
your show?
Yeah, you're expecting your show?
Let's see.
There's 190 sketches that we have to film. Or no, we're gonna go to camera with how many?
Maybe
Anyway,
180 something.
180 something, so it's a lot. There's a lot.
There's some fun, there's a lot of cop stuff.
Yeah,
This
You'll
year.
see the red wine ladies
You
again.
can see the red wine ladies.
that's
Yeah.
true.
You'll see our construction workers again.
That's
Yeah,
true.
dudes.
That's true.
That's it.
We can't.
Not giving anything away.
Yeah.
We'll be in it. We're gonna be in it.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so sweet. I was talking to my mom on the phone just before, and she's like, "So how did it go in LA?" And I was like, "Oh, it was great. You know, super
mom's name's
fun.
Pam. We love Pam.
We love Pam, and she's great." And I said, "Well, it launched in the States last night, Mom." "Oh, it launched in the States. So it's Americans because it's in the States." I'm like, "Yes." And she goes, "So who stars in that one?" It was the best. I was like, "It's us. It's our show." And wow.
Yeah.
So that I felt like a star in that moment.
Yeah.
That's so cute.
Oh, Pam, I know, isn't that cute? I was like, "So who's in that show?" We've recast it with supermodels.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to get anyone fired. I think we're about done for time, but it was so nice to see you guys again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us at Melrose.
Oh yeah, anytime.
Yeah.
And if we do want to work on that cookbook, I'm pretty sure
Yes.
we'd be down for that.
Mushroom soda.
And risotto was actually very hard to make, so you should be proud
My
of that.
sister Leslie Taylor, great cook, taught me the trick.
What,
How to
standing
do
by
it.
the stove and not stop?
Stand by the stove. Don't
I know it.
stop.
Yeah, never
Stand by
stop
that
stirring.
stove.
And make sure your broth is a flavorful broth. Like, don't go with a mediocre broth. Like, have some nice body to the broth.
Yeah.
I can
Good
make
broth.
really good salmon, so if you come over, I know you hate salmon, but like, I
like
think it's
it.
like a
We'll do
She
a
can
pot.
watch. Carol can watch us.
I don't hate salmon. I just prefer wild.
Like
wild
salmon.
I can
Not
cook you
exist
wild
anymore.
salmon.
That's your star moment. I prefer wild.
What, you just assume I would go for crappy farm salmon?
Hi.
On that note, thank you. Don't do that again. I don't want to end in tears. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank
Thank
you
you
for
so
having
much
us.
for watching.
Thank
And your finale of
It's
season
this
2
coming Tuesday.
is this coming Tuesday
Yeah.
at 9 Eastern time.
Yes, you can watch on CBC, or if you don't have a TV, you can watch on the internet. So see the actual full program, which is really kind of fun at 9 at the same time just by watching on
CBC.
cbc.ca/Baroness.
Yes.
Yeah. Or if you're a neighbor to the south, you can now watch on IFC.
IFC.
Wednesdays and then.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.